Uh, I just had this other like kind of like it's just this language thing here real quick. I mean, listen. This is speculation here, dude. Here's the thing. You know, I seen this one guy. They're like basically they're saying just stick to the Bible. Don't never expound on it. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, man, dude, I mean, I couldn't disagree, but then I thought of Paul, Timothy, and James, Peter, John, how these guys all wrote books. They used points from the Old Testament and the New Testament, yet expounded on them and wrote new material, okay? So I think in the power and authority of Jesus Christ, we have that authority to rightly divide the word, man. And you have to modernize it. If you speak in the terminology of that day, of those olden days, they kind of apply now, but you have to bridge the gap with your own terminology. It's in the mind of the man speaking the word, or it's his interaction with God's spirit. If he's speaking in alignment with the word, well, does that not seem like if someone's operating in the will of the Father? I mean, listen, there's times you see some people operate in the will of the Father. It's like you can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it. But then there's other times, you know what I'm saying? You can also feel where they're not. They ain't got the spark at the moment. They must be distracted. They must be fighting with the spouse. The kid's doing something wrong. Something's bothering them. It's got them. They're not operating on full. But anyway. All right. There's this in China, the yin and yang, man. This is based on something called the Tao, and that interprets to something called the way. Basically, in a way, it's like this. Jesus says that he is the way. You know what I'm saying? The truth and the life. So in a way, Jesus kind of proclaims an aspect of the Tao. And that would, it's like the Chinese were kind of playing with the concept. And in a way, Jesus kind of proclaims the concept that they were playing with, but yet they could never see it coming as a man. And a man who is a man, but yet he's also God at the same time. So you do have two aspects of the same thing, right? And they're not in opposition. They're working in one accord. You know what I'm saying? You could think of it that way, that the hierarchy of heaven, like the higher hierarchy, works in accord, but there is that element, the rogue element of heaven, that is the devil and his angels, because they're from heaven. You know what I'm saying? But even though they might not have access and as much power with heaven as they had, but yet that's where they came from. So in a way, that's the rogue element. That's that element of free will for real. Because I mean, we're all got this. It's no one can violate anyone's will. I mean, but then again, it's almost like if you torture someone to death, trying to get them to confess, and they die before they confess because they weren't guilty, or they just wouldn't confess. They were just real hardcore Jigga McCoy. But it's kind of like you can't you shouldn't try to do that. You shouldn't try to push it till it breaks. But same thing with trying to tie in some of these things, because I'm just saying, it's in a way, Jesus, he says he is the living water. Does that not, in a way, isn't he saying that's the fountain of eternal life? It's not the fountain of immortality. It's the fountain. Immortality means you live in your body forever. Eternal means even if this body dies, what's inside of us lives on and carries on. Though it metamorphosizes. It's like, this is what judgment's for. It's to leave what was here on this side of the line, and we go clean into eternity. And a lot of people out here are all like, oh, why do we got to get judged? It's because it's a good thing. It's not bad. The reason why there is no judgment in the land right now, that's why everything is out of control. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's lawlessness, because there is no judgment. So think about that. What you guys proclaim against that is good, uh, is what is causing all these problems you hate in this world in which we live. Think about that. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to tell you how to think. Come to your own conclusions. Do your own research. I'm just telling you what I know, what I see, and I've been there. I've studied these other subjects too, and I'm just saying, if you know anything, there's no reason to deny Christ or the testimony of the Bible, man. There's no reason to deny it. The humanity is better off for it. You got everyone else tries to spin it, and the misusers of it, the Catholics, which aren't even Christians, they pretend to be Christians, just kind of like the Talmudics, the Talmudic Babylonian Pharisee pretend to be Jews, but they're Talmudic Babylonian Pharisee magicians. And they're all tied up into the Masons, the Jesuits, the monarchies, the mafias, the Satanists, the Luciferians, the UN. They're all of them. You know what I'm saying? You got to think these things are all incrementally working together. But anyway, and that's why in a way Jesus kind of proclaims them all, just in case you think you found something that surpasses it. But in a way, everything is addressed, including alchemy, the elements, all this stuff. Metaphysics, things like that. They're played with. The topics are played with if you can know how to extract that deep out of the material. But once again, back to the Tao. Jesus said he's the way. I'm not saying there's for sure connection, but I'm just saying, listen, the philosophy kind of jives. Just like with the fountain of life or eternal life. Jesus says, I am the living water. Drink from this water. You should thirst no more. If you thirst no more, that's, if you don't ever needed water again, almost your tank's running on full. But I was thinking about this too, man. It's like, all right, you got the Tao, and it breaks down, and that symbol really represents everything in existence, I guess you could say, or at least in the physical existence, and maybe beyond the things we can't see as well. That because the things we can see are mirrored after the things we cannot perceive, and that is even mirrored in the Bible itself. And like I said, I'm not trying to mystery Babylon merge. I'm not supporting Buddhism. I'm just trying to utilize